Bring it back.
Look, Sneaky, I got a huge question. Right? And I will be disappointed if I forgot to ask this.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
I definitely want to just hear from, two people who from a generation that, was a
Leonard,
part of my favorite like Giant uniforms. When it comes to Giant uniforms, what was your personal favorite? And then the second question would be, which would be the style jersey that you think should be brought back into today's time?
Ooh, good question. Yeah.
That is a good question.
I'm gonna let Tiki take that one first.
It's your guy who was never lying, sometimes defiant. TP Way the Giant, man. Shout out to all my New York Giant fans, man. Giant salute to each and every one of you. If you are new to this channel, man, go ahead and subscribe. Now listen, clearly I am out of my element. I am doing this straight raw, inside my mother's car. That kind of explains the theme of things in the background, but whatever. I'm out of town. I am not in the office. Clearly, I am out of town, but I wanted to make sure that I pushed this video out, man, because the moment that I had the other day was just way too special for me not to share with y'all, man. But before we even get into that, I do want to shout out Sneaky G-Man for including me on that live stream where we celebrated his 300th show. Go show that man some love, man. Make sure you also subscribe to him as well. But yes, man, that live stream was super duper dope. And we celebrated the right way, the Giant way, man. Because not only was the panel full of just some of my good buddies, man, some of my good Giant bros, but it also had New York Giant legends in the building, man. You had the great Leonard Marshall, man. Let me repeat so I am clear. We had Leonard Marshall that we had the chance to chop it up with, man. You can't talk about New York Giant defense without the thought of Leonard Marshall, man. You had Jarrod Bunch, who was super cool. It was dope chopping it up with him. YouTuber Eli Mack, who I didn't know much about his work, to be honest with you, but best believe when we got off the live stream, I have an idea now. I did, because I went to his YouTube channel and I'm like, oh, okay. So that was super dope, man. We'll talk about that in a second. And then, of course, man.
I just want to revisit this. Who was it again?
Tiki Barber.
Okay. And why is that? You said there was a certain connection, right? What was the connection?
Matter of fact, Barber, that's definitely like my all-time just GOAT right there. When I'm a twin brother, so when I was younger, when I was a kid,
right,
I was Tiki. My twin brother was
Older than the Rock.
Right.
Yeah. My twin brother was Rondé. So yeah, that was.
So Tiki, how did that make you feel when you?
He just marked out.
TP, that makes me want to ask you if you are a real twin or a fake twin.
And
of
you
course,
got both of us. This is real.
And of course, you got Eli Mack.
Tiki Barber. We had Tiki Barber on the live stream, and for those, man, who don't know, Tiki Barber is my Giant, man. That's my number one Giant right there. I think every Giant fan has their number one Giant, whether it is because you can relate to him in some way, form, or fashion, whether it is because you just enjoyed their style of play the most. Whatever it is, I think y'all can understand that everyone, of us has that one person that you can go ahead and label as your number one Giant, man. And so Tiki Barber, that's mine, man. I know for me, his era was my introduction to football. And, I am a twin brother myself. And when I was younger, we did a lot of, pretending and acting like we were professional football players on a field. But there was definitely a time, man, where I pretended to be Tiki Barber and my brother pretended to be Rondé Barber. And so that was like mind blowing, because it took me back to that time, man, and I was able to even show my brother, like, look who I'm chopping it up with. And this is the type of things, man, that you gotta love, man. Like, this is the type of things that money can't buy, just true, genuine interactions like such. But anyway, I want to kind of get into some things, man, that we talked about on a live stream that kind of stuck out to me. I want to start here. Leonard Marshall, it was so dope, man, talking to the OG Leonard Marshall. He reminded me so much of my grandfather, just because you knew that this man just had so much wisdom, you know. And it was one of those things, man, for those who know, you know, when you have an OG, man, that get to talking and they talking to you about a particular time that you were only able to witness on television, it really reels you in, man. And that's what happened with Leonard Marshall, man, because I could literally sit there all day, all night, man, and listen to Leonard Marshall, you know, reminisce and talk about, you know, behind the scene things and locker room things and just different stories and things like that. But one thing that stuck out to me, man, was the mindset that Leonard Marshall spoke about, you know, them having at that time, but also Tiki could relate. Leonard Marshall made it a point to mention Bill Parcells. Leonard Marshall isn't the only one to do that. We have heard so many ex-Giant players. No, I don't want to say ex-Giant players. Once a Giant, always a Giant. But we have heard so many Giant players from the past mention not only Bill Parcells, but the importance of their head coach. And it just made me think about, you know, now. It made me think about what is Coach Dable's identity in himself. What is he pushing to the team? Now, we know that in 2022, Coach Dable was somebody who brought a lot of energy and spark to this team. Can he do that again this year? Can he be that? Can he be someone where the players can you know, play for him harder than they have ever played, but also, you know, kind of build off the identity of who Coach Dable is. I don't want to mess up the quote, man, but Tiki Barber, you know, said you play to the identity of your coach. He said something along those lines, man, and I thought that was like a light bulb went off. I was like, damn, you know what? That is very true, man. That is very true. So we could talk about, you know, the defense, all that we want. And we could talk about these new additions that we have on this roster, all that we want, man. But there is a reason that the head coach is titled the head. It starts with the head, man. So Coach Dable, you know, a lot of this responsibility, man, is going to be on him, and we will go as far as he takes us. Another thing that he spoke about that was interesting was the toughness and the mental toughness that you had, man, when you was on that team back in the day, or when you were just in those eras. We are not making this up, okay? This is not just some extra fan shit. When we really talk about our passion of disliking the Philadelphia Eagles, the Dallas Cowboys, and things of that nature, man, that is a real thing. That is a real thing. And so when players try to act like we take it too far, okay, now I know I'm not tripping, because one thing that Tiki Barber and one thing that Leonard Marshall spoke about was that when they suited up and they were going against a Philadelphia Eagle team, they wanted their head. They wanted their head, and they made it clear that they were not fans of, Michael Strahan doing the flag waving thing, and they're not a fan of, Saquon Barkley per se making that move to the Eagles. They didn't kick his head in or anything like that, but they do believe in Giant pride, man. So when anybody tries to deteriorate you away from that, nah, man, you are not wrong. You're not the weird one. You're not off on that, man. That is a real thing. What is another thing, man? You know what? Let me refer to my notes real quick because I don't wanna forget anything. Give me 1 second. Let me. I of course, man. I got to talk about Tiki Barber, man. Let me talk about just how humble that man is, man. And to be honest with you, it's genuine humble. It's genuine humble. And I like the fact, man, that Tiki Barber is like a straight shooter. A lot of times, man, when you talk to professional athletes or you talk to anybody with some type of celebrity, man, you could expect a lot of political correct answers. And that was something that Tiki Barber, was not about. And even Leonard Marshall gave it to you straight as well. But I enjoyed the fact that not only was Tiki Barber humble, but he was completely honest. He was completely honest. We spoke about putting Tiki Barber in the top 5 of our 20 greatest New York Giants of all time. And Tiki Barber was like, no, I can't be in the top 5. I can't be in the top 5 because of one thing. And it is because I didn't win a ring. And when I look back and think about certain things that was said, man, I thought that was so dope because there is a standard when it comes to being a New York Giant. And there is a culture that has been built to where a ring is the goal. A ring is it. And for him to say that about himself, I thought that was deep. We could even further the conversation. I brought up the Victor Cruz and Odell debate. And again, I clearly, bow out. I clearly understand the perspective now. I clearly have been outvoted, and I was wrong. Victor Cruz deserves that higher rank of Odell when it's all said and done. A lot of it was because of where he led this team to get a ring. A ring. When you talk New York Giant football, that is the standard, man. And a ring does hold a lot of weight. And I can dig that. I'm with that. I am with that. So, I lost that debate, and we kind of talked about that a little bit. So that was also dope, and that kind of just reminds me to push everybody, man, that that don't get it twisted. That's the standard. We ain't the Giants, as they say. We G-men, we the Giants. And the standard is getting that ring, man. So let's not settle for anything less, man.
He's still blushing.
I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Are you off of cloud 9 right now, or?
I'm just getting off of it, to be honest with you. Like, more than half of this conversation, I'm just sitting here like, yo, Tiki Barber's but okay, all right. Randomized question, just a random question, or according to this list? Can I talk about this list?
I mean, whatever you want to talk about.
Okay, I'll start here because this was one of the things that we almost thought about. It was a nice little debate. I do want to hear from my man Eli Mack, and then we'll go to Leonard Marshall, and then we'll have Tiki finish it off, right? And I just want to know, if we were building a top 20 list like we're doing, if you were to rank your receivers, would you have Odell above Victor Cruz, or would you have Victor Cruz above Odell? So
now, do you want to give the full story though? Do you want to?
Yeah.
you want to do that?
Okay. Now, this is the reason why he's
Here
asking
we
you
go.
this.
Well, okay, okay. Go ahead, Eli.
All right, honestly, man, I would go with Victor Cruz over OBJ.
My man.
And yes, man, chopping it up with Eli Mack, man. Eli Mack, just as a Giant content creator, man, somebody who's just pushing to grow, you know, my own channel. He kind of told his story on how he got into what he does. And man, it was super dope. It was super dope to hear his story, but it also is why I love doing what I do and why I love working with the guys that I work with, because, you know, a lot of people in this Giant community, in this Giant content creator space that I personally surround myself with, they have the mentality of, you know, helping each other, pulling each other up. You know, people are not being overly selfish, are not just thinking about themselves. And there's a lot of unity going on, man, in this Giant content creator space. And I love that, man. I absolutely love that. You know, born for sports. That is a guy who I can throw his name out. The Juke, I can throw his name out. Of course, my bro Big Dash, I can throw his name out. Everybody on the Aboriginal Sports Network, of course. Big Pat, NYG, I can throw their name out. The list goes on. I don't even want to forget anybody's name, but I mean, that's just the truth of the matter. But yeah, Eli Mack, man, kind of talked about, you know, how he got to where he is at now. And I knew he had to be some level of importance based off our conversation. But yes, he has a huge following, and y'all probably already know who he is. This is why they call me Unc, because clearly I'm out of touch as what's going on, man. But you know, his content is super dope as well. But even chopping it up with him, that was dope, man. But all in all, man, it was just a super dope live stream. I shared the live stream in the post section on my channel. So if you haven't seen that, make sure you just go tune in, man. It was super dope, and it's definitely one for the history books, man. So yeah, that is that on that, man. Hopefully I didn't forget anything, but I am still on cloud 9 because that was done, man. But again, look, giant salute to each and every one of y'all, man. I am going to do my best to get back to the crib so I can push out more and more of this content, man, because we do have some things to talk about. But I'm going to wait till I get back home till we do that. But again, if you're new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe and all that good stuff. Like this video as well, and I will holla at y'all when I holla at y'all. Until next time, peace.
Jarrod, I want to ask you this one question, okay? The
I'm next to
position of...
Tiki Barber.
Say what?
I said you put me next to Tiki Barber.
BP fangirling right now.
Carefully, he might run over you.
Hey, enjoy it, TP. He said
Somebody get the
put me next to Tiki
screenshot.
Barber.
He wants the dual shot now to get a weird selfie now at that point.
Hey,
You know, GP hasn't stopped smiling, right?
Yeah.
GP has not stopped
Hey,
smiling.
no, he has not. He has not.
He is a naturally happy guy, but not this happy.